Before we understand the rest of this, what this ayah is saying, first of all, let us recognize that we have something very tremendous, meaningful, important, and urgent, and that is Kitabullah. Kitabullah is what Allah has sent for us to follow. And so we said, He sent it down. It means it came from somewhere transcendent. It came from the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before it became something manifest in our world. Before we got to hear it, and to memorize it, and to recite it, and to write it down, Allah Azza sent it down from His mercy, from His love for our guidance, from His care, and His call for us to come to eternal bliss and paradise. Allahu yad'u ila dar as-salam. Allah Azza wa Jalla is calling us to His guidance. He is calling us to His reward. He is calling us to His pleasure. And it is from His great mercy that He sent down His Quran, and that He sent with it a messenger who would walk. He would be the walking Quran. He would be the body of the Quran, and He would teach the Quran, and He would convey it to us and clarify it for us. And He would bring this mercy to the world. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we sent you not to the messenger except as a mercy to all the world. إِلَيْكَ. We know this kaf. Is that a kaf? إِلَيْكَ. Who is it speaking to? Who is it speaking to? You tell me. إِلَيْكَ أَنزَلْنَاهُ إِلَيْكَ. Who is it speaking to? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There are some people who say that they mean to make a nice point for da'wah. They say, if you count the number of times the name Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if you count the number of times the name Muhammad comes to the Quran, you will find it is only 4 times. 4 times. Right? But if you count the name Isa, it is some 25 times. If you count the name Musa, many more. And they mean to say that these prophets are important also in the Quran. But if the importance of somebody and their connection to the Quran is counted by numbers, then we must count the many times that the Quran says, Ya ayyuhan nabi, Ya ayyuhan rasul, Ya ayyuhan muzammil, Ya ayyuhan mudaththir, and many more ways that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is addressed. And most of all, we hold it for this kaf and for this anta. إنك لا تهدي من أحببت. إنك لا تهدي من أحببت. Is that a fact? This is what I'm interested. Every pronoun which is speaking to the anta, this most of the time is speaking to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we will never have this deep relationship with the Quran until we understand that we are taking part in a conversation between our Lord and His beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we have been privileged to receive the Quran from Him. That the first place that the Quran was sent out to was on the heart of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله. For Jibreel alayhi salam has been sent to place the Quran on the heart of the Messenger by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until we feel this and appreciate this, we're missing an important part of the reality of the Quran. That the lesson of the Quran is come to us through the heart of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we will never understand it until we reflect on the Messenger and how he received the Quran, and how he conveyed the Quran, and how he applied the Quran, and how he taught the Quran, and how he lived for the Quran, and how he strove in the way of the Quran. وَجَاهِدُوا بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. His da'wah was with the Quran. فَذَكِّرْ بِالْقُرْآنِ مَن يَخَافُ وَعِيدٍ. And his jihad and his striving was with the Quran. Until we understand this, we have no grasp of beauty and the essence of Allah's words. كتاب أنزلناه إليك was the next word. This is really the word that is very, very important to Muslims. The concept of lessons. But let's for some people, the meaning of barakah is in, again, the physical form. Allah touched the Saad. Allah get barakah. Alhamdulillah, I don't know that. And I'm sure you have the barakah of the Saad. And I'm sure that if you write some words of the Quran in some paper, and it's all in some water, and you drink it, inshallah, it is shifa. There is healing. But this is not the main way that the Quran is healing. Shifa will the soul. Healing for the hearts of the cardiac medicine. Healing for the hearts, not the kind that the doctors and the people in the medical department will tell you about. But the spiritual healing, the intellectual healing, the ethical healing. This is what we're reading, what is on the paper. You don't take the prescription from the doctor, and it's all because of water to drink it. You take the paper to the pharmacist, he gives you the pill, you don't touch the pill. You don't put it on your shelf. But you take the required dose, the right amount at the right time. You don't take otherwise. This is overdose. You take the right amount at the right time. You digest. You process. This is the way of Islam. Many of them will tell us that they will learn 10 ayat, and then they will learn everything in those ayat, and then they will take all the essence in those ayat, and then they will move to the next 10. We have to be so desperate for these lessons. But naturally there is a way to access these blessings. We access these blessings. In the first place, we have to open the Mus'haf. We have to open it. Then we have to look. And then we have to read. And here is the part that sometimes people take for granted. When they are talking about the Tadabbur, and they're talking in Arabic, they have ignored a certain problem. That those of us who are not native Arabic speakers, but we have to cross a certain boundary. We have to understand. Reading does not always lead to understanding. But we have two routes to get there. The short route and the long route. And the long route is that we study the Arabic language. So you are here in a place that offers you this opportunity. Study the Arabic language. Hear Allah's words as He said them. And understand them as He meant them. What is the short route? The short route is that we go to a translation. Someone has done some hard work of trying to capture the main meanings of Allah's words in the last in English, in French, in any other languages of the world. And we're reading that we can appreciate the main meanings. The main meanings. This year, we launched a review campaign through Quran.com and through QuranReflect.com. This campaign is called the Global Quranic Calendar. The Global Quranic Calendar. So we say the global because we're going to get part of it. Okay? And then you find this on Quran.com, and then you click where you slash calendar. Because we realized that we know that Ramadan is the month of the Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. But it's not شهر رمضان الذي يقرأ فيه القرآن. This is not the reading Quran. This is not what Allah said. This is the special month of the Quran, yes. But it's not the only month of the Quran. What do we do to Shawwal? What do we do to the Quran? What do we do to the Hijjah? What do we do to the Ramadan? You can do it every day. But we're giving you a suggestion. I counted the weeks between the end of Ramadan and the start of the next Ramadan. There are 46 weeks. So then we just assigned a small part of the Quran. We divided it into 26 parts. Somebody say, bid'ah. You did bid'ah. That's right. I will say, the people before us, they divided the Quran into 30 parts. Allah Azza wa Jalla told us in 30 SHAAS or 30 parts. But the people before us, they said, we want to read the Quran in one month. Not Ramadan, every month. We want to read the Quran every month. So let us take 30 parts. And we will read one of these 30 parts every day. Some of us said, we want to read the Quran in 1 week. So they made a division of the Quran into 7 parts. You may have heard of Fadi Shab, Fadi, Bishop, Fa, Bi, Ya. You start with the Fatiha, Al-Ma'idah, day 2. Yunus, day 3, Fadi. Bishop, day 4 is Bani Israel, Surah Al-Isra. الشعراء والصفات القاف الجلسة قاف سورة القصة. So we said, let us read with everyone time every week. We read one piece of the Quran and we will read it in a language that we understand. If it's Arabic, alhamdulillah. If this is a translation, alhamdulillah. This is the Tadabbur. It will come to you. It will come to you when you open the Quran and take it seriously and start to ask what is Allah saying to me and take the first steps to hear what Allah is saying. Until then, how do you expect the Barakah? How do you expect the blessings in your life until you show the seriousness? Until you show that need, that thirst for the pure water that is the end of the Quran. ليتدبروا آياته. Tadabbur. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions Tadabbur in a few ayats. In two others, He is speaking to or about the unbelievers or the hypocrites. And He said to them, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. He says, this is Surah Muhammad, don't they reflect upon the Quran? Or is it that there are hearts which are lost upon them? There are locks, أَقْفَالُهَا. There are different kinds of hearts. And there are different kinds of locks. So there are those who have the locks of kufr and nifaq, and kibr. And there are also thoughts, laziness, kasal, lots of ignorance, lots of distraction, lots of cultural illiteracy. In my country, in the culture I grew up, they don't tell me to read the Quran. They don't tell me to reflect on the Quran. It's not my fault. Yeah, it's not my fault. But we have to change the culture. Do we talk about the Quran in our houses, in our families? Do we spread the message of the Quran? Do we talk about the latest items in the news? And do we have some space in our conversations for the latest ayah that we read? This is culture. A culture of reflection is what we need to do together. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِندِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Surah Al-Nisa. All those people who ponder upon the Quran, look at the wisdom for just the most pious citizens and the intellectuals and the ascetics. Tadabbur here is as well. They have to do it. Pay attention to the Quran. Don't pay attention. Don't be user-eyes. If they were to do so, they would realize that this Quran is so perfect that it couldn't have come from anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They would have found contradictions, inconsistencies, conflicts. But the perfection of the Quran, which comes to us by the Quran, paying attention to it, studying it, learning from the scholars who have said about it. But first, opening our eyes, opening our hearts to the Quran. This will lead us to assure this. Have we become convinced of the will of the Quran? Before we're going to talk about convincing the people outside of our houses, have we become convinced of this will of the Quran? This is the first stage. This is that. So that, for this purpose, this is what the Quran was sent out for. This is the way that the Quran will be accessed. Without the Quran, no Quran. Some people will get angry by the way. They say, I'm denying the Quran of the Quran. No, I'm saying you're denying yourself the Quran of the Quran. People talk about the reward of reciting the Quran. It's obvious. There is a reward in reciting the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged us to recite the Quran. He told us about the hasanat that will come from every letter that we recite. Did he say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did he say, وَإِنْ لَمْ تَفْعَلْ No, this came from you. This is other people. This people added this idea. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was saying what he said in the hadith. The hadith is in Arabic. He was speaking to people who understand. He was speaking to people who understand. So when he told them to read, he didn't have to tell them. And also understand it, read it. And understand it. He does not have to say that to them. I have to say it to you. Read with understanding. Read with understanding. If sometimes you read for an occasion with an understanding, alhamdulillah, that's fine. But if you spend your whole life reading with no understanding, we have a problem. People are looking at the hadith that the person will go to the day of judgment and he will be told, recite and rise, for your station will be at the last ayah for your recital. So they say, what happened to recite and rise? And Allah will raise you in the judgment. Do you not think that Allah will also ask you? Did you fulfill the rights of my look upon you? Of course. When I spoke to you, when I sang down this book full of blessings to the most blessed messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did you listen to what I was telling you? Ya Allah, I listened to the Sharia classes. I listened to them quietly. I listened to the recitation. This is not from me. Did you listen? When the Nabi Israel was told, when they were given the Nifah, they were told, Wasma'na, and listen. And the Mufassir will say, Wasma'na means interview, apply, abide by the rules, do what you are told. When you tell your children, listen to me, you mean obey me. You don't say, listen to me, and then ignore me. The Nabi Israel said, Sami'na wa asina. What did the believer say? Sami'na wa ata'na. Don't be the person that says, Sami'na wa sami'na wa sami'na. We just listen to the beautiful sounds of the Quran, and we let them touch us, and we say, Sami'na wa ata'na. Sami'na wa ata'na. And this comes to understanding. How can you obey what you don't understand? How can you follow what you don't understand? How can you follow the messengers of Allah if you don't know what He's doing? The Quran is telling you, you need to do the instructions. These things, my brothers in Islam, are so obvious that it actually makes me feel pain to have to say things that are so obvious. But what I have discovered in the last year, as I have been talking about these things, is that people are finding this very hard because the culture has taken them so far away from these obvious realities. And so they start to react and become defensive. Are you saying that you can do wrong whenever Quran schools and madrasas? I don't know. You figure it out.